Hey y'all. I forgot that I clicked stream. I was sitting here finishing reading. Sorry. Oh, it's been a day. It's been a day. It's been a day. Been a day. Um, boys are out at Frick's doing their last day of camp and having a good time. Hope. I don't know, but I'm guessing they are. They're fishing, and boys like to fish. So, um, today I want to talk about mistakes. Hmm. And we don't like to talk about that. And I'm not talking about somebody else's mistakes, not mistakes of the people who hurt us, not mistakes that we like to point out, but our own mistakes. And I've learned that we all make mistakes, every single one of us. Whether we intentionally do it or we unintentionally do it, we all make mistakes. My screen's flashing. Sorry. We all make mistakes. And the world that we live in makes it easy for us to excuse or justify or blame or defend or explain away our failures, but God teaches us something completely different. And God isn't looking for perfect people, He's looking for honest people. God had to use that this morning with me. I made a mistake, not intentionally. Sure wasn't intentionally, but it was taken that way. It was taken that I was being intentionally trying to hurt someone, and I was not. I absolutely was not. But sometimes, even when our intentions aren't that way, that's their perception, and we all know the saying, perception is their reality. So I can't say that, I can't say. I know what I owned it. I didn't want to, but boy, the Lord worked really quick. And He said, no, you're not doing that. You're not. No. Nope. 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 And He worked really quick. I tried to write it, but I don't know that I got there, but I tried. In Proverbs 28:13, it says, people who cover their sins will not prosper, but if they confess and forsake them, they will receive mercy. Notice He says it doesn't say God. It does not say that you'll find mercy by hiding it, or He doesn't say that you'll find freedom by pretending it didn't happen, or He says mercy comes when we confess it. I had to go this morning to the altar, face down. I'm thankful that I get to work here. I really, truly am, because there are many times I'm at that altar through the week, face down, praying for people, praying for things, this church, myself, whatever it may be. I am so thankful that the Lord gave me this job. And I absolutely 100% know that the Lord gave me this job. And for that, I will always be eternally grateful. Does that mean I get to keep it forever? Maybe not. Maybe He'll move me one day. And I'm just going to have to be thankful for that too. He says mercy comes when we confess it. Sometimes I confess it, but also apologize. And some days that's hard for us. Some days it's really hard for us to apologize, because in the society, again, in the society that we live in, apologies don't mean anything some days. They just don't. But if you're doing it from a sincere heart, how they take it is on them, not you. That's their decision to forgive or to hold that grudge, however it is. We can look at David, and David made some huge mistakes. He made some huge doozies. But it says David was a man after God's heart. And that's who we need to be. Even though we may make mistakes, we need to be a person after God's heart. We need to be seeking Him and growing in Him and learning from Him and being corrected by Him. When I was on my face this morning, I said, Lord, thank you for the correction. It didn't feel good. It really didn't. Did not feel good. But I thank him for it. Because I'm so thankful that he doesn't leave me where he found me. And he doesn't leave me in the middle of my mess or my mistake or my mess up or whatever it might be. But when he was confronted, he eventually stopped making excuses and said in Psalms 51:3, he says, "For I know my transgressions and my sin is always before me." And that's not, our sin is always before us, but when we confess it and we repent of it, it's no longer before us because God has taken it and he has thrown it into the sea of forgetfulness. It's gone. David owned it. And sometimes that's the hardest thing for us to do, is own it. No blame shifting, no if they hadn't, no you don't understand, just honesty before God. And that's where restoration begins. But if we look at Adam, on the other hand, when God asked Adam what happened, Adam said, "That woman you gave me." He immediately blamed somebody else. And it can always be that way in anything that we do, in any conversation that we have, or any interaction that we have. We could always blame somebody else. Sometimes we do walk into a trap. Sometimes it is. They're baiting us and we fall for it and but God still is the God of forgiveness. In other words, he said, it's her fault, it's your fault, it's everybody's fault but mine. That's human nature. When we're wrong, we want a lawyer. Somebody to defend us. But when someone else is wrong, we want to be a judge. Those are powerful words. I was like, this is a hard lesson for me. Hard lesson for me. But the other thing is, owning it doesn't mean living in shame. Just because you did something wrong, the enemy says you made a mistake, so you are a mistake. God says you made a mistake, but I can redeem it. And we have to let him redeem it. We have to allow him to do that. The enemy says you made a mistake, so you are a mistake. God says you made a mistake, but I can redeem it. But there's a huge difference. Conviction says that was wrong. Condemnation says you are worthless. God convicts to restore, and the enemy condemns to destroy. When we own it, we admit it, we confess it to God, we apologize to anyone we've hurt, we learn from it, and we move forward in God's grace. We move forward in God's grace. We don't ruminate it. We don't let it roll around in our head for days on end. We've given it to God. We've confessed it. We've apologized. We need to move forward in God's grace. A lot of us do 1 through 4, but we don't do 5, and we're trapped in that guilt, and that's what the enemy wants. He wants us to be trapped in that guilt, and because he wants us, he knows he can use that. But Jesus didn't die so we could be forgiven and then spend the next 20 years punishing ourselves, because we beat ourselves up. We're the worst. I'm my own worst enemy, and I know that. I beat myself up over things that are just, I need to let go. And then look at Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times. Imagine that failure. Imagine that shame. But yet Jesus restored Peter and still used him in a mighty way. Jesus can heal us and restore us and use us. He uses ordinary people. And it's funny that the t-shirt I chose this morning, and I changed shirts like 3 times this morning, but I finally came to this t-shirt, and my t-shirt says, Jesus chose you. And it's a reminder to myself, you may have made a mistake, but he chose you. You are right where he wants you to be. If it wasn't, he would have moved me. And I know that. I know that for an absolute fact. I know that Jesus has me here for a purpose, a reason, whatever, a season, whatever we want to call it. Has it always been easy? Absolutely not. There's been 17 years. I've been here 17 years, and there's been some really hard things in 17 years. But today, maybe you're carrying a mistake. Maybe nobody knows your mistake. Maybe everybody knows your mistake. Because, sometimes when we make a mistake, it gets broadcasted. Or your boss gets called. Or your spouse gets called. Or your children get called. Or whatever it may be. Everybody likes to broadcast it. Everybody likes to just throw stuff out. I've learned. Just quiet. I don't want to be on. I don't want to be on that train. I don't want to be on that train. Either way, God isn't asking you to defend it. He's asking you to bring it to Him. The strongest words a person can say is, I was wrong. Not because they're weak, because they're mature, because they're humble, because they're willing to let God work in the truth. And that's what we have to do sometimes, is just admit that we were wrong. And I did this morning, on my face before a God who loves me. I was wrong. And I hurt somebody else, and I apologize. It's not always easy, but sometimes it's the things that we have to do. We have to own what we've done. We have to own when we come across as something that we weren't meaning to. Because sometimes our words and our tone are way far different than what we meant them to be. And sometimes it's just the way it is. But we have to own it. And we have to know it. And we have to believe it. Believe that God is not going to leave you to sit in that misery. He's going to redeem you. He's going to restore you. He's going to do all of those things when you ask Him to forgive you. And when you're humble enough to get on your face before Him and say, Lord, I messed up. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful that's the God I serve. So I hope today that you have a great, great day. It was a little rainy this morning and getting a little warmer this afternoon. And Freedom Celebration will be next Saturday, the 27th. Snow cones, popcorn, pickles, all the things. And everything is free. Come out and join us. We'll have glow sticks for the kids. I think I got some mini bubbles as well. So trying something different, because I tried glow necklaces and that made a mess. And they were all tangled, and I was like, wow, I'm not doing that again. But just trying to find something fun for the kids is sometimes difficult. But come out and join us. Church this Sunday at 10 o'clock. The messages have been absolutely amazing. The Spirit has just been moving, and I'm so grateful for that. It's a sweet Spirit, and I'm grateful for that. So I hope you guys will join us on Sunday at 10 o'clock. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will be back here on Monday. Bye.